Welcome to Wildcat Sports Update. I'm your host, Jim Boyle, and for our final 24-25 season show, I have in the studio with me tonight, I've got two of our junior captains from Lacrosse, one boys captain and one girls captain. So in studio with me, I've got Leah Murphy, and I've got, over across the way, I got John Mehr. So welcome, guys. Leah, we're going to start with you. Just who you are, how long you play lacrosse, a little background, what position you play, that fun stuff.
Okay. My name is Leah Murphy, and I've been playing lacrosse since probably first grade, and it's always been my favorite sport. And I play attack, and yeah, I've just been playing it for a long time.
Perfect. All right, John, you're up.
Yeah, I'm John Mehr. I've been playing lacrosse since first grade as well. Love the game. I played defense. I've played defense since 7th grade, and I was kind of all over the place previously. Yeah.
So, question on defense for you, real quick. Long stick or not?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's the difference between long stick and not? Give an explanation to the person who knows nothing about lacrosse.
So, long stick, 6 feet long in comparison to, I believe, the 3 to 4 foot long regular stick. It might be shorter than that. I'm not 100% sure on that.
And the purpose for it?
It's so just to have more reach, and not everyone is good at utilizing the long stick, and sometimes some kids are better off with the short stick. So that's where we would put them at D-midi if they're athletic.
Okay.
And so
perfect. I never knew the answer to that. Yeah. I thought it was really good whack people across the head or something with it.
It's illegal.
It's illegal. Okay. So you guys are both junior captains of lacrosse. I'm going to start with you, John. What do you see your role as a captain? First off, and how does that play in being a junior captain? Although I know you had 3 other juniors with you.
So my role as captain, I always saw myself as someone to set a good example, and I think, being injured, it was hard to do that this year. But I'd try my best, telling kids what to do. If I noticed they were doing something wrong, I'd point it out and I'd tell them how to fix it. And when I eventually got healthy enough to pick up a stick and play some wall ball, just catch off the wall. I decided to do that during the practices, show the other kids that I was still dedicated, even though I was hurt.
Okay, so setting as a role, set an example for everyone, which is good.
Yeah.
Okay, Leah, you get the same question. What do you see your role as a captain, and how were you accepted as a junior captain?
I would say that just bringing hype to making the team excited, and supporting all my teammates, and just telling everyone if you make a mistake, it's okay, just get back, forget about it, just get the ball back. And I feel I love supporting my teammates and cheering for them, and just being hype on the field, and just getting everyone excited to play lacrosse.
And then were you the only junior captain?
Yes.
Okay, so next year you'll be a senior captain.
Yes.
Good. You went to Captain's Council with A.D. Dennis Ingram. What did you gather? What did you get from that? What did you see? What's Dennis trying to do there?
I feel just trying to be a better leader, and showing what it is to be a leader, and just how to do everything to support your teammates, and do everything off the field and on the field, and just overall being a good person and a good teammate on and off the field.
John, I know you didn't make any Captain's Council because of the injury. What do you feel like you could have, you would have been good to have knowledge of going into being a captain that maybe he could expand the program on?
Just something that I didn't know about being a captain. There's a lot of work off the field, which I learned pretty quickly, and sometimes it's hard to do that work. I tried to organize a summer league for the kids last year, and didn't it's kind of hard to communicate with the kids. They're not always answering, but I tried my best, and that was one thing I didn't know, was just the outside work.
Okay, so you'll be much better aware of it now going into next year.
Absolutely.
And you'll be a 2-sport captain as we speak, because I think you're a soccer captain, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, next question for you is, what were your goals for the team going into the season? I know you were hurt, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but what were the goals for the team going into the season? I know the season's over, and did you achieve your goals?
So the goals for the team, I think, one of which was we wanted to make the playoffs, which we didn't achieve this year, but I think other than that, we wanted to just improve, because I think this year was already going to be a rebuilding years, because we had 13 seniors last year, and so our goal was kind of hopefully get like the rust and dirt out of the way at the start of the season, but it didn't like fully happen until like halfway through the season. But I think once we got that out of the way, we did like achieve our goal of becoming a better team.
Okay, and Leah, same question to you. I know you guys did make the playoffs. So what was your goal beginning of the season? You can't just say, oh, we want to make the playoffs. What was the goal beginning of the season, and how do you feel like you accomplished that?
Our goal at the beginning of the season was to definitely make playoffs and have a better record than the past years, because the past years we've either won 1 game or we won 3 games. And just like one of the goals was to win more games than last year and to definitely make the playoffs and just to be like more of a team. And we ended up making it to the playoffs, and we played 2 playoff games, and we ended up winning 8 games, or 9, I believe, but which we did both of our goals. And it was just like, the energy was just so much different, like compared to last year and this year, like with like winning games. It just gets us like more excited.
So what do you contribute that energy to? What changed over the course of the year? Was the talent better? Was your goaltending better? How did you helped you make that jump?
I feel like just like playing more as a team, like being a team and just doing everything like together and like moving the ball around a lot and just like being patient and just waiting for like our time to come on the field where we can just, just score a bunch of goals and help us win.
Good. Who were the League All-Stars since you were successful? Did you have, how many League All-Stars were there, and who were they?
We had 3, and it was Jill, Haley, and myself.
Okay.
This year.
Perfect. And John, same question to you. Who were the League All-Stars, and how many do we have, and what do we expect to improve on next year to be better?
Yeah. So we had 2. It was Colin Allard and Cam Gray. They both had a phenomenal season on the offensive side, which is why they absolutely are in that. I think I would have hoped to get one this year. Obviously, I didn't have the chance because I was injured, but, try and go for that next year. But could you repeat your second part of the question?
It was just saying you answered that. You got that with
really?
what you expect for next year and how that's going to lead into next year and you being hurt.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you being hurt. You got hurt during soccer season, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And you did swim because did it impact your swimming, or did you not? Did you get to swim this year?
So I got injured in August, and I didn't realize that my meniscus was actually torn when the injury happened. So I played the full soccer season, swam up until like late January when I got that MRI, because my knee had still been in pain since I started PT in November, and it ended up being torn. So I finished out swim season, then I got the surgery.
And again, speaking to somebody who's got the same problem you do, I have the torn meniscus. What did they fix when they did the surgery? I mean, you're a lot younger than me, so I give you credit to get the surgery. I'm never going to let them cut. But what did they fix, and how have you recovered from it?
So surgery, they had to, I think they stitched most of it together. The tear, it was a complex tear. Usually, most meniscus tears, they do like 6 or 7 stitches, or they cut it out if the tear is too big. Mine, they gave me 14 stitches, and they cut out 5% of it. So I got to keep 95% of the meniscus, which is definitely a good thing in the long run.
And what's the recovery been like?
It's been a long recovery. I'm super excited to get back into sports. I think I've been doing PT for a while, been staying on top of my exercises. I actually started a meal plan last week to just stay healthy and make sure I'm getting back into shape right away. And I want to make sure that I don't jump into it too quickly so I don't re-injure myself.
So you think you'll be ready for soccer?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the goal. Good, good. Now my other good friend here, Leah, I need congratulations are in order. She scored her 100th goal as a junior, which is a very big accomplishment. So question on that is, what was that like when that moment happened? Did you understand the build-up? And what do you attribute getting to 100 goals?
I know since this season started this year, it was always like one of my goals to like reach 100 goals because I've been working at it since freshman year. And I know that all my teammates were so happy and they were just so supportive when it did happen. And when it did when we had the game where it happened, we were like losing by maybe like a lot of goals, but I think our heads were just like so into everything else that we just kept scoring goals, and then like eventually like I scored my 100th goal and everyone was so excited for me, and we all just like started jumping up in the air, up and down, and we just started like hugging, and everyone was like congratulations and everything. And then some of my teammates made posters, and then my family came to watch, and it was just like by the time I scored my 100th goal, we were already like one goal down from tying with them, and we ended up winning that game. So it was just like a win-win situation.
What are we looking for next year? How many goals do you think you want to score? Is there a goal in mind for goals?
I just want to score as many as I can. I don't have like a goal this year because it's going to be a lot of goals to get. The only thing that would be in play is maybe 150, but like.
Is that a lot of goals? 50 in a year? Yeah,
I feel like. I mean, I had 58 this year, so I feel like I could definitely do it again.
John, is that a lot? 58?
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I think for like the boys' side of sport, like Colin had like 13 his freshman year, had like 70 last year. He reached 100 this year as well.
Oh, good. Yeah. So we have 200 goal scorers,
yeah.
Both juniors. I'm going to go back to you, Leah. Since I don't know lacrosse all that well, since I'm a baseball guy and everyone knows that, how important is goaltending? Because it seems like it's a hard thing to be a goaltender. I'm going to ask you the same question, John. I know the games are a little bit different, but how hard is it to be a goaltender with that ball flying at you all the time and you really don't have a lot of defense? And how important is a goaltender to the success of the team? So, Leah, you go first.
Being a goalie is definitely a very hard task because there's some girls that are like shooting 80 miles per hour on that, like on the field, and I know a ball coming at your face even very slow is kind of like very scary, and it's just like it's very brave to be a goalie. And I give like shout out to Michaela because she took a lot of like hits to her arms and like legs and everything, her head a lot during games, and like it's just like I could never do it, but I'm like so proud of Michaela for doing it. But yeah.
John, boys goalie.
Yeah,
what's it like?
Goaltending's like a super important aspect of the sport. I think for most sports, goaltending's pretty important. But for lacrosse, the shots are like super fast, like ranging between like 70 and 100 miles an hour. I'd say. I like to try and jump in front of as many as I can. I don't have a good enough like reaction time to always like get in front of it. But Luke's reaction time is phenomenal, and like I've seen. Especially, I remember in Wakefield, like some of these kids were shooting like 100 plus miles an hour, and I'm like, I don't know how Luke's saving any of these.
God bless them. So they are very important. Like all sports, it is, but it's good. Nice shout out to both Luke and Michaela from you two. Team bus rides and team dinners. This will be the last team aspect question I ask. John, were you allowed to have music on the bus? And if so, who controlled it, and what were the team dinners like?
Music on the bus, I'm not 100% sure like who had the speaker. We did have a speaker. I wasn't on the bus a whole lot of the time because I was at PT during a lot of the bus rides. I went to as many bus rides as I could, but I ended up driving to most games. I think we were definitely allowed to have the music. We didn't have any like restrictions or anything.
Okay, and team dinners, what were those like, and what do you think you get out of a team dinner?
Team dinners, it's just like building team chemistry and just enjoying yourselves because you can only be in high school for 4 years of life. So
what's your favorite team dinner?
What's like
who had the best team dinner?
The best team dinner. I think I don't know about this year because they're all pretty similar, but I'd say my favorite team dinner last year was at the Sears house with Bobby Sear.
Okay, good.
Just everyone's at like a big table and we're all
chowing down.
Yeah.
All right, good answers. Leah, you're next. Team bus rides, who controlled the music? What type of music were we playing? And team dinners, what were they like? What did you get out of them? And what was your favorite one? I know that's a lot of questions for you, Leah, but what the heck?
For the bus rides, I had a speaker and I played music, and then sometimes when I didn't feel like playing music, Haley would play music. And we were allowed to have music on the bus. And I feel like my type of music is very different to what other people like because I'd be playing songs and like some people wouldn't even know what they are. And I'm just like, oh, I love this song, and everyone else is like, I don't even know this song. But like I feel like just listening to music on like the way to an away game, on the way to an away game, it just gets us like so excited. And then we'd always play Crazy Train like right when we got to the field, because it just like got us so excited. And we didn't have a lot of team dinner. I think we either had 1 or 2 team dinners this year, but I know last year we had a lot of team dinners, and I feel like just going to team dinners just gets the team together and just builds team chemistry.
Well, I can tell you next year you better have a lot of team dinners. You're captain. You're captain this year too, though.
I know.
So I find the team dinners seem to be a good rallying point with everyone involved. I want to change subject a little bit now and talk about coaching and coaches. You don't have to, not specific coaches, but coaching and that sort of thing. And as you know, being in the high school, I am assistant coach on the varsity baseball team. And I love to ask this question because I get great answers from everybody. So for both of you, we're going to start with you, Leah. What advice would you give a high school coach who's coaching, going to coach? What would be your advice to that coach?
I would just say getting like the team excited to play lacrosse, and just, or like any sport, like just getting excited to play that sport, and just making like practice like I want to go to practice instead of like practice, like just like wanting to be there and like getting excited for the sport, and just bring energy, like high fives, fist bumps, like just supporting like the team,
Good. All right, John, you're up. What's your advice for coach? It doesn't have to be a lacrosse coach.
Yeah.
It could be any coach.
I think I like agree with some of the things that Leah said, and that like the coach should like inspire the kids to want to be there and to want to win, and to like really strive for success. And I think coaches need to inspire their players by either like shouting at them when they're not like paying attention or whatever, or like being like the friendly coach when like everyone's down, got their heads down, like trying to give a speech to motivate them to do better.
All right, good. Next question will be, John, you played for Coach Forts, and Leah, you played for Coach Chris Frisori. I'm going to start with John. What's one thing you learned from Coach Forts? It doesn't have to be a lacrosse piece. It can be anything. It's something you learned of playing with him or for him for the last year or two. What's the one thing?
I think one thing I learned from Coach Forts, not necessarily from anything that he's like told me, but just the way he acts, I've kind of learned that it's really important to stay level-headed and keep like a cool, calm demeanor when you're dealing with a team, or just a group of people in general. And staying calm is a really important aspect of addressing a group of people.
Okay. And Leah, I know you played for Coach Chris, Coach Frisori, Coach Frizz for 2 seasons. You had him for basketball and then for lacrosse. What's one thing you learned from him? Doesn't necessarily have to be lacrosse, but overall, what's something that you're going to take forward with you that you learned?
Just to always be excited for your teammates and support your teammates, and just love the sport that you're playing, because I know Coach Chris puts a lot into like basketball and lacrosse, and I also like from all the coaches I've had, just to love the game, like love the sport you're playing.
Good answer. Top moments of the season for you, Leah. We'll go with you. And I know you didn't play, John, but what was the top moment overall? Start with you, Leah. What's the top moment of the whole season for the girls lacrosse?
I'd say making it to playoffs, winning a lot of games, and just all the games that we've came back from, because there were some games where we were down a lot, and I remember the Tech was a very good game because we just never gave up and we kept going, and we ended up winning both of those games by 1 goal. And then Essex, we were down, I think, like 10 goals at one point, and we just kept like scoring and just kept trying, and that was like one of the games that we had a very good comeback on.
Okay, good. John, top moment for the boys this year?
This year, I think an exciting moment I could think of was Cam Gray scored an overtime goal against Brookline. That was early in the season. I think later in the season, another moment I could think of was just winning on senior night, because I think it was a close game. I mean, I think we were ahead for a while and they started to come back, but we dug our heels in and stayed in the lead, and we won the game, and everyone was super excited about that.
So was overtime sudden death, or just is a time period?
Yeah, sudden death. Like if you score, game's over.
Game's over?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to stick with you, John. How do you grow the program? I know we've struggled with getting numbers in a lot of sports in Wilmington. How do you grow the lacrosse program? What would be your advice to grow the program?
To grow the program, like, just start with like recruiting kids from like the younger ages and like being involved in the youth programs, but also like developing the players that are already in your program. And I think for lacrosse, you can be an athlete and be really good at lacrosse if you learn the basics. So if we just like recruited some kids around the high school that are good athletes and taught them how to play the game, and they liked the game and wanted to play it, like the program would be so much better.
Good. Leah?
I know the youth program is very like big for lacrosse, but I feel like just telling people to try new things, and I know at the high school, like, some people haven't played lacrosse before and they tried it out and they ended up liking it. So I feel like just trying new things if you've never tried it before, and definitely going to the summer camps, because it will give you a chance to try a sport even if you might not like it or you do like it, because I know lacrosse doesn't have many numbers right now. So I feel like trying a new sport is definitely something that you might end up liking.
So that's a shout out for our summer camps. Those are camps that we run through the high school where the student athletes volunteer and help work. Some of the coaches run them. Leah, that's a great point. Get them all out. Whatever the sport is, go out and play that sport. Now, the next follow-up to that question is, or learn that sport. The follow-up to that question for me is, let's say I'm the parent of a boy or a girl who's in 5th grade. What would you, Leah, we'll start with you. What would you tell that child about lacrosse? What would you tell them to get them to say, yeah, I might want to play lacrosse? What would you say to them, and how would you get them to get the feel for it, what Wilmington High School lacrosse is?
I'd say that if you try it, you're going to love it, because it's such a fun sport and you meet so many new people. And just like, it's just like such a fun, I don't know, there's nothing bad to say about lacrosse or any sport. Like, it's just so nice to try new things. And like I said before, if you've never played this sport before, you can try it. And if you don't like it, that's fine. But it's always good to try it. And then that might be your favorite thing for the rest of your life, like if you put practice in.
Good. John, what would you say to that young man?
I'd say a similar thing to Leah. It's just important to try new things, like not just with sports, just like anything in life. Like, you never know what's going to happen if you don't try. You know?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So if I'm a baseball player, you're going to try to talk me out of playing baseball and playing lacrosse? Just a joke. I'll let that go. Every once in a while, I'm allowed to be the host. We're going to go to my favorite portion of the program here. That's just coming from a baseball coach. I apologize to all my lacrosse fans out there. Individual questions. I get to find out more and more about you guys. I know you're going to on. Leah's going to be with me at least two more times next year, and John's a captain twice next year. So every time we do this, hopefully we'll find something different out about you. But this is the first initial foray with me having you two here in the studio. So hopefully we can learn a little bit more about both Leah and John. Leah, you're going to go first. So John's lucky. He gets to hear all the questions first, formulate his answers as mine, but you're on the hot seat first. And
okay.
I will really enjoy the answers that you give. So Leah, you ready to go? Former teammate that you learned the most from? Or present?
I don't have a specific one, but I feel like all of my teammates, they just all welcomed our Graydon and myself in every single sport, and just made us feel like comfortable in the team we were in. And
okay.
So everyone.
Fine. Other sports or activities you do at the high school?
Field hockey and basketball.
Any other extracurriculars?
Yeah, I'm in DECA and NHS, and yeah.
Oh, good. You should be proud of that, by the way, NHS and DECA. Your favorite moment for you individually this year and your whole career?
Definitely my 100 goals, because it's been something I've been working on since freshman year, and just, I don't know, being a captain was definitely a very nice experience, because it got to show me what I can do next year to make myself better and bring new people in and just support the team better.
Okay, you said you guys both went through the youth leagues. What are some of the youth teams you played for, and any shout out to any of your coaches?
I played youth lacrosse with all my friends since I was very little, and it brought me so many new friends, and Coach Carey was with us the whole time, so I've known her for a while. And then I also played club lacrosse for HGR.
Okay. And what advice will you give your teammates going to next year? You made the playoffs. What's one piece of advice you would give your teammates to look forward to get ready to motivate for next year?
To come back better than we did this year and make it farther in the playoffs and win a lot more games and just have a lot of fun.
Okay, what number do you wear and why?
I wear 3 because it's the number I've been wearing since youth, and I've always wore it. And I always wanted 17 because that's what my mom used to wear, and I believe. But I felt like the single-digit number. I like the single-digit number better.
And who are the people who influenced you to play lacrosse and get into lacrosse? And are there any? You said Coach Carey. Are there any other coaches you want to give credit to?
Well, I feel like I just wanted to always try lacrosse since I was young, and I did start young. So I feel like just like seeing what was around me and just wanting to do it. And then definitely for lacrosse, I give a shout out to Coach Chris, and then my club coaches, and Coach Carey.
Okay, and what have you learned from lacrosse or athletics that can help you in the classroom?
Just to always be a leader and always speak out, and just it sound like communication. Like on the field, we communicate, but also like in school, always like communicating like with friends and teachers and classmates.
Okay, and if you had a walk-up song, what would it be? What music are they playing when Leah Murphy walks out there on her senior day?
I feel like I like Crazy Train, which I said earlier, and then it's kind of cringe, but I like Party for You by Charlie XCX.
Okay, the good news is I know Crazy Train, and the bad news is I have no idea what Party Train or whatever it is by XCX. Perfect. We're going to go on to you, John, next, put you on the hot seat. Basically, when we come back, we'll get our shout-outs to everybody. So, John, it'll be basically the same questions. I might phrase them a little bit differently because I sometimes lose track of the order as I get older. So, John, first question is a former teammate that you learned the most from.
Definitely Bobby Sear. I mean, he was a great lacrosse player, and having played lacrosse my whole life, I've always been... not always, but I've definitely gotten a lot better, and I think Bobby definitely helped me get to the next level and as a varsity starter.
Good. Yeah. Other sports and activities you do at the high school?
So I played soccer. I started swimming last year. I used to play basketball, and then I'm in DECA, NHS, and mock trial club, I think. Yeah. Okay, so since you were hurt this year, your favorite moment at the high school for lacrosse and your favorite all-time moment for lacrosse? Well, I think I have the same answer for both of those,
okay.
And it's definitely the playoff win we had against Bishop Stang last year. I think a lot of kids on the team and kids that were on the team last year would have the same answer. It was a overtime win, pass from Michael Waller to Charlie Rooney. Just a super. It was just an awesome moment.
That's really good.
Yeah.
The youth league. You said you play the youth. Who are some of the teams you played for, and any youth coaches you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah. So I played in both like the classic and select. And select is kind of, they're both like traveling to other towns, but select is supposed to be more competitive, so I played for both of those. But some of my coaches were Tim Allard and John Martins, and then my dad also coached for me. He never played lacrosse, but he did a lot of research that some kids probably wouldn't do on their own, and he learned the sport to be able to teach other kids the sport.
Shout out to your dad for stepping up. A lot of people won't step up and learn, so shout out to your father here. What advice would you give your teammates going forward?
Advice I'd give my teammates going forward, I think I'd just encourage them to always hold their heads up and just stay motivated throughout the season, because I feel like there are a few times in the season where the kids seem down, and it's hard to feel that way, but I think they should also be like confident in their ability and just look to improve even when the times are hard.
Okay, and what number do you wear and why? We had this discussion beforehand. What's the number you wear and why?
So I've always wanted 14 my entire lacrosse career. I've never gotten it. I just want it because it's my number for my other sports, and I wanted it originally because it was my dad's basketball number, and I've just mirrored that all my life.
Did your mom play lacrosse, by the way?
Yes, she did.
She's a lacrosse player.
Yeah.
Good.
She played at UNH.
Okay, so that leads me influences and who you want to credit. So,
Yeah.
who's influenced you to play soccer, and any other coaches you want to credit?
Influenced me to play soccer.
Not soccer, lacrosse.
Lacrosse.
It's getting long in tooth here.
Yeah, for lacrosse, definitely my mom got me into the sport. I think she just wanted me to introduce me to the sport that she loved all her life.
And any coaches other than we shout your dad out, but are there any coaches that you want to credit that helped you get to this point?
I think both Coach Butch and Coach Forts. Coach Butch left last year. I think Coach Butch, he was always the excited coach and always ready to get us amped up and happy to be there.
Okay, and what have you learned in athletics that you can apply to the classroom?
Something in athletics that I have applied to the classroom is like just having confidence in my ability. So I've developed confidence in my athletic ability, and I realized, like, especially like when I'm writing an essay, I've always, for most of my life, I've like second guessed myself and just kind of taken a really long time to write the essay because I'm second guessing myself. But I've just learned to have confidence, and it gets the work done quicker, and it's still quality work.
Final one before we do shout-outs, walk-up song, if there would be one. What would John Mehr's walk-up song be?
Not 100% sure what my walk-up song would be. I think I definitely want to figure that out for soccer season because I want the whole team to have a walkout song.
Okay, good.
Because I want to start walking out of the locker room like we do for lacrosse, for the same as soccer.
So I'm going to do the shout-out. So when you get on here for soccer next fall, I'm definitely asking the question again. You can have an answer for me. I'm going to put that on your head now because I'm going to remember these things. So now comes one of the favorite parts of the show, other than learning more about you guys. You get to give a shout out to whoever you want. I've had this is the show I've done. It's the 105th show that I've done, and I've probably done the shout outs for like the last 80 shows. So just don't miss anybody, because if somebody's watching and you miss them, mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, whatever, they might get a little frustrated with you, but like my dog or some weird answer that I get from kids sometimes. So you're gonna get a shout out. Leah, you're gonna shout out right to that camera right there, and John, you're gonna look right into this camera right here. So Leah, guess what? You get to go first. Give yourself a shout out.
Can I give a couple?
You give as many as you want.
Okay. I like to shout out my mom and my dad, and then all my teammates, and especially the ones who got injured this year because their seasons were cut short, and they just still stayed happy. And then Coach Weaver and Coach Chris, because I forgot Coach Weaver earlier, and Coach Kerry for coaching me in youth, and then my aunt.
Good. All right, John. Right.
I just shout out my family, like my dad, my mom, my brothers, and my sister. Just my aunt, uncle, my uncles, both related to and related to by blood and marriage. Just everyone in my family is super supportive of me and my career.
Good. That's great. So again, thank you for coming on board. I've had Leah Murphy right here, and I've had John Mehr over there. They are two junior captains for our boys and girls lacrosse teams, and they're going to be multi-sport captains next year. You guys did a great job on the show. I really appreciate you coming in. You speak very well for our Wilmington community, and it's awesome that we get that. So for Wildcat Sports Update, I'm your host, Jim Boyle, and we'll see you on down the road.